Hello and welcome back to Assorted Beefs, where I talk about anything I want to that doesn't fit into niche tea for any particular reason. I've gotten a lot of questions about the B Chapman stuff that's going on, so I want to talk about that. Here's your George tax. I hope everyone is having a lovely weekend so far. As you know, I, alongside another creator named Colleen, who I will tag, are supporting a team of artists and their families, a total of 15 people, to help get them to a place of safety and get them the resources they need to be able to survive. At this point, their homes have been completely destroyed and one of their team members is actually missing. We've been able to make a little bit of traction, and I know this would be hugely appreciated by them, and it is by myself as well. Thank you so much. If you are able to help, I would greatly appreciate that as well, or if you are able to boost. So B Chapman is an influencer. She has about 100,000 followers on Instagram and like 820,000 on TikTok. Do not harass her anywhere. Be fucking cool. Her whole thing has always kind of been just like lifestyle and fashion content. I initially actually ran into her content just organically years ago. It was a lot of fashion, get ready with me type stuff, but also her doing things that she very casually talked about in a way that I was like, how are you doing this? Like the initial set was about Fashion Week, and then there was one video where she said that someone that she either was dating or knew had paid for her to go and eat at this very fancy, expensive restaurant by herself, not with them. She never expressly said so or came forward about it in her content, so I always kind of got the impression that she was either rich herself and trying to downplay it, or just had a lot of rich connection. And since then, she's gotten engaged to a millionaire, so the content continues to move in that. Like, she's not expressly saying like how much a thing cost or anything like that, but she is very much putting forth videos that express wealth. Now, you've probably heard something relating to B Chapman and someone named Gechi. But before we can talk about that, we have to talk about the other thing going on, which has to do with Lily kind of taking on her snark subreddit. If you're unfamiliar, snark subreddits are basically places where people go to talk shit and hate on particular influencers. If you've heard of things like Kiwi Farms, lolcow forums generally, snark subreddits are Reddit's version of those, basically. It's a place for haters to gather. So the larger context around all of this is that Lily has a snark subreddit dedicated to her, where, again, they just talk a lot of shit. Basically everything that she does, they come in to talk about how they hate it, they hate her, all the various reasons. They also have this running list of things that she's done that they find to be very specifically problematic and reasons that are worth her being canceled or being hated. There's a lot of stuff, but I've seen a number of things consistently brought up, and I did find a post on Instagram that kind of summarizes what these key issues are. So I'm gonna post those screenshots here so you can just read through them. I'm not gonna go through these individually, but we will come back to them in aggregate. So in the last few weeks, Lily has been posting videos talking about this subreddit and things that they have allegedly done to her. The biggest of which being that allegedly they fully doxed her and I believe her family's like addresses and contact information. I say allegedly because I can't find things, but I have yet to see anyone dispute that this happened. And according to Lily, there have been heavy levels of harassment, threats, all of this type of stuff going on for like a year, and it's being fueled by this subreddit specifically, and it's also, in her opinion, driving more hate from people who didn't know her, and their first introduction to her was through this subreddit. So through these videos over the last few weeks, she has launched a Cancel Me merch line, which has some of the proceeds going to an anti-bullying organization, and is also more in depth talking about the whole situation from her experience and also addressing individual things, some of which are on this list that I showed earlier, that she has been accused of, and explaining them from her perspective of like what happened. And where possible is showing screenshots both of the types of things she was being sent or seeing in the subreddit, as well as to support her account of why the subreddit is misconstruing or twisting the thing that happened to make it look worse than it was, according to her. So that's like the macro understanding of what's going on. Now we bring in Gechi, who is a significantly smaller creator on TikTok. Do not harass them. Back in, I want to say February, Lily got engaged to her fiance, who I mentioned is either himself a millionaire and or his family are. And so it was a very extravagant series of videos showing this absolutely very beautiful trip and proposal. Gechi made a video that didn't mention Lily directly or tag her or anything, basically saying it's weird to post this without being like, hey, I'm rich, by the way, this isn't like a normal thing that people should expect from everyone, and was speaking about how, you know, Lily was liking comments like if he wanted to he would, which again made it seem like anybody could do this. Lily then screenshotted that and then posted it on her Instagram stories in front of, I think she had like 70,000 followers on Instagram at the time, basically defending herself and saying like, I'm not going to talk about what my in-laws are worth, that's not my place to do that, and I never said I didn't have access to money, like that kind of thing. When she posted it though, she didn't block out Gechi's TikTok handle and didn't say anything like, hey, don't go harass this person. So people went to harass Gechi. This started a whole back and forth. Gechi's like, this influencer sent 800,000 followers after me. Lily's like, I posted this on Instagram, not TikTok, so it wasn't 800,000, it was 70,000. And only 600 people saw it. I don't know, something back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. They just kept going. This exchange then got reignited now, several months later, with the launch of Lily's merch line and her discussing everything about the snark subreddit. Gechi posted another video criticizing it and then got more hate as a response, and they've continued to go back and forth ever since. One of the videos that Lily has posted as part of this series of videos about the harassment she alleges to have received included one specifically about Gechi and their interactions over the last few months without specifically naming Gechi or calling out them or showing their face. In that video, Lily alleges she's very confident that Gechi is this specific person who is also in her snark subreddit, and shows screenshots of this person's username claiming that they made the video and thus that they are Gechi, and then goes on to show some of the other stuff that Gechi has said allegedly in that snark subreddit under that username, and shows a number of other things, basically taking them through it. Overall, the whole series that Lily has put out about her snark subreddit, about Gechi, about everything, has been very well received, both because her responses / her side of these things she's being alleged to have done are being seen as fairly reasonable, and also because she's shown a good number of screenshots and receipts to justify her take on things, and also to show the types of things that she claims to have been dealing with over the last year. So that's the situation. The rest of this is just kind of my thoughts. There are a lot of different dynamics at play in this whole exchange. I'm seeing a ton of videos of people saying that if you come onto the internet and say shit about somebody as an adult, you should be prepared for backlash to the thing that you said. I agree with that. I do believe that there is responsibility that comes with the power dynamics involved when you have a certain level of following. Now, obviously, I have never seen Lily come on the internet and say, this person is attacking me and I don't like it, go defend me. But influencers never do that because they don't have to. All they have to do is show the person's face. And I simultaneously have never heard her, and I may have missed it, actively say, don't go after these people. I personally think that it is very important that when you get to a certain size, you be very specific with how you engage with hate. Lily going after her snark subreddit, I think, is completely valid. No one is being individually targeted. It's a group of people acting as a group with individual anonymity. And they've done absolutely not okay shit, like doxing her. Once that happened, the Reddit should have been shut down, period. And I'm glad she's been able to get the subreddit shut down since then. It's specifically when she's engaging with people one-on-one that I do think there's a level of responsibility there that I wish I could see more of from her. And that's not to say she can't respond, she can't defend herself, anything along those lines. I would just hope to see more of an active effort from her to defend herself while also actively discouraging retaliation of any kind. For me, that includes censoring people's identifying information, actively saying, do not contact, harass, whatever, this person, and not liking comments or commenting things that encourage that type of like defensive retaliatory behavior. For example, on a video that was not about Gechi, but was about harassment generally in the same time period, somebody, I think, made a comment about like, I can fight or I know how to fight, and she liked that comment, and of course Gechi felt that that was her encouraging people to go after her specifically, but then Lily said, no, I just meant it like general. People don't necessarily know that. Similarly, Gechi has alleged that Lily has emailed their employer. I don't think that's okay. Even if someone's talking shit about you. I can completely understand the upset that comes from people who just get joy out of hating you and lying about you and all that shit. And I think anyone is completely within the right to be like, hey, I'm hearing this thing is being said about me. I think this is ridiculous. Here, let me explain what's going on from my side. Simultaneously, I personally would like to see more of an active effort from large creators to not weaponize their audiences against individuals. Subreddit, fine. Anonymous groups, fine. It's just individual people. That's where I get, I don't like it.